Welcome back, tribe. I have a video here from Ray Like Sunshine, the right-wing pick-me epidemic. Let's get into it. He has a Passport Bro one, too. I'll cover that one later. His videos are hilarious.
Welcome back to the light side of the internet. This video is about picking things. Picking flowers, picking noses, picking me, ice picks, ear picks, me picks, cherry picks, those picks. Okay, you get the idea. This video is about pick-me's. Conservative pick-me girls confuse me. On one hand, they're clearly very talented in knowing how to build an online fan base, and also the subtle art of rage baiting. But on the other hand, they just say the quirkiest things sometimes.
I think it should be state by state.
Victims of sexual abuse. Okay, why?
That's fine. I think if everyone in a state wants something, go ahead and have it.
So if everyone in Alabama wanted slavery back, you'd be okay with that?
Sure. If everyone in the state wants it, go ahead.
Anyways, ever since the rise and fall of Pick Me Pearl, there has been a slew of content creators that are vying to take her place. And just like the sequels of Fast and Furious, every single one is doing their best to outdo the original.
The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what?
What the hell is this?
Look, besides the obvious rage bait, I just want to take some time to appreciate the absurdity of this statement. Like, you want men to control your body. Girl, I can't even control my own body sometimes. Telling a man to control your body is like telling a dog to drive a car. It doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. And it's probably going to take a massive dump in the driver's seat. Plus, we did have a long period of time where men were in control of women's bodies. And we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. For example, ADHD is grossly underdiagnosed in women because all the tests we have for ADHD are made for men. And even then, it took me, a man, well over 2 decades to get a proper diagnosis. So I ask you, conservative pick-me woman that I'm about to introduce to you all, would you still trust a man with your body? Because I barely trust him with mine. All this to say, let's not forget who the real problem is. It's guys like this.
Giving birth is the only time a woman comes close to understanding what it's like when a man has a common cold. Okay?
Are you well?
Yeah. But that's not
Okay.
who we're talking about today. This is Emily Wilson, an alt-right anti-woke influencer whose job it is to post her frequent crash outs onto TikTok.
They're saying like all the college kids, boys, men, whatever they are trending conservative. And I'm like, yeah, duh. The left is so insane at this point that like if you're a dude, especially if you were a straight dude and put yourself in that category, like you're like insane. It's like, not only is it like, it's embarrassing.
It looks like there's a flag on the play. Jim, let's check out the replay.
So if everyone in Alabama wanted slavery back, you'd be okay with that?
Sure. If everyone in the state wants it, go ahead.
And here comes a referee.
Oh, boy.
For review, we have determined that it is indeed cringe to think that states should bring back slavery. The player will be ejected from the game expeditiously.
It's like, imagine being a man and being like, yeah, I'm a Democrat. It's like literally the most like,
Come on, dude. That's rock content. That's TikTok brain rock content to amass a huge following because you're traditionally, whatever cool, what's considered, what do they say? Conventionally attractive. And so you got mega thirsty simps because 40% of men are not fucking at all today. 30% are like virgins. 60% haven't touched pussy in like the last year. Some shit like that. The statistics are like out of control. Women like this and all the other women on Tinder and dating apps are only fucking the top 5% guys. So there's a massive drought out there. They're having less sex because of that, as far as their generation goes. And so, yeah, if you're even remotely attractive as a woman, you make this kind of content, you say the stupid shit like if you're even like remotely Democrat, like you're cringe. Like, oh, are you like a straight man? Or, dude. And then the guys that are coming up, that generation or younger, seeing this, like, yes, queen, she's so based. Yes, of all the languages, she chose to speak facts. Ugh. I see that shit in the comment section. I'm just looking down at you as a millennial going, fuck, you are weak. Like M. Bison crossed fucking hands like this, just looking down with like a stank face. I'm like, oh, that's why no one will remember your name. That is the truth. You're so far gone, lost in the sauce of simpingery, that there's no way to pull you out and save you. You need a rock bottom moment. And that's like with broad strokes on all the youngest generations, bro. They're mega simps because they're starved for sex. And the women are insane. And they've never been more disconnected. The men are trending super conservative. And the women are trending super liberal. And the gender war is super real for them. More so than it's been for every other generation. And just imagine if it's shit for us, you know, Gen Xers, millennials, Gillennials, or whatever they call them, the ones in between. Imagine what it's like for these, the absolute youngest of them. Fuck. It's like simultaneously shit on a whole generation of people. Oops. Not saying everybody. Some of you guys are based, mega based. But you have a problem if you can't spot this as brain rot shit with, you know, two brain cells hardly rubbing together, giving you no information whatsoever. Just saying.
Like, feminine, embarrassing thing you could do.
All right, I have a litmus test, boys. If you follow a female influencer, right, talking head, whatever the fuck, does she have a ring on her finger? Yes or no? Does she cook for her family? Yes or no? Does she have children? Yes or no? What's her Instagram looking like? What's her social media like? Is it all about family? Does she got her family there? Okay. And if she were to get in a controversial space like this, talking about politics, which is not very feminine anyways, but okay, fine. Does she relate it to strong family values? If she's Christian, Christianity, you know, a family under God, listening to your husband, submitting. Does she talk about rearing children and children's place in society and children's need for protection, right? And their rights and how society should build a forward-thinking society for children, the next generations and shit like that, right? They should have a sort of a feminine, motherly lens on all their takes when it comes to politics and all that shit. That's your litmus test. If you find one of those, send the email my way with a video. I'd love to cover that. Otherwise, it's a grift. End of story.
Okay. Nobody f***ing asked. Okay. All jokes aside though, I didn't want to make this video in order to attack conservatives. And I do think that it is on some levels toxic to just say that conservative women are being controlled by their men or just aren't educated enough. The vast majority of conservative women are of sound mind and are fully capable of making their own decisions themselves. And saying that they don't have the ability to do so is just patronizing. But like I said, this video is not an attack on people who happen to be conservative. This video is an attack on people who spew rhetoric like this.
Funny, because as a female, like, look at the females compared to, in right-wing politics compared to, like, left-wing. And, like, not only, like, in shape, super attractive, dressed well, and then also we have to, like, actually be smart and know our shit because we're getting attacked 24/7. And then I'm just like, look at women on the left. Dear God. I mean, what country do you want to live in, just visually at this point?
Hold for vibe check.
You got to be smart. Hold on. We just got to be smart and we got to know our shit and like on point because we get attacked by, you know, bull nose ring, blue haired cave trolls. And like they're coming after us and you have a single video of cooking a meal from scratch. Can you fucking knead some bread and make it from scratch? I want some sourdough. Can you do that? Do you even know how to do that? Can you make your own pasta at home? Can you make your own sauces at home? Can you turn a house into a home at all? Other than literally doing what the brain rot leftists are doing, which is putting a phone in your face and talking into it saying like 10 fucking thousand times without even completing the first sentence. It's also tiring.
The vibe is so off. Women on the right have it so hard because we're so hot and beautiful and sexy. And women on the left are stinky, gross, poopy, probably pee and poo in bed and should probably take a shower. Ew. Anyways, it's so hard being attacked all the time for being a conservative woman. I never thought this was a reaction I would have from a woman, but when she says female...
Funny, because as a female, like, look at the female.
How about you stop looking at females and start looking at the road? Because you are driving me up a wall. and hopefully intuitive. This little clip says a lot about the values and priorities of this breed of pick-me girl. The only thing that is important to them is looks. It's one thing to have conservative values, but it's a whole other thing to put people down who don't agree with you in the most vapid and superficial way possible. And you know that people who are actually confident in how they look would never even think about putting other people down. I spent like an hour trying to think of a skit to put here, but I'm pretty sure if you watch any Dar Man video, you'll get the gist. And the other funny part is, they're just straight up wrong. How on earth can you say that about Beyonce or Olivia Rodrigo or Julia Roberts? In fact, my only regret in life is that I will never have a chance with Chappell Roan. You can take me hot to go, because I'll be in liberal hell. There are a few occasions where Emily gets so close to making the right assumption and is about to spit actual bars until she just ends up feeding this constant cycle of left versus right.
I see so many women on TikTok, of course they're like liberal, complaining like, oh my god, I'm dating so hard in the city, all men are trash, all men are garbage, blah blah. It's like, do you think if you've been dating and you're in your late 30s and every man has had an issue with you or not wanting you, do you think at some point the common denominator might be you?
Look, I mean, she has a point here. If you're perpetually ending up in relationships that don't work out, the problem is probably you. Just like how if you feel like you're constantly being attacked, it's probably because you're constantly being a massive asshole. I don't know. Just a theory. But why is this a liberal versus conservative issue? I feel like this is more of a bipartisan issue. Just because you're conservative doesn't mean you won't have commitment issues and won't have trouble finding a partner. Just like because I'm liberal doesn't mean that I can only date liberal, late 30s, 6-foot tall goth chicks with tattoos and colored hair who will let me be Little Spoon. It definitely doesn't mean that. Definitely not. Stop making this a partisan issue. And do you know what else isn't a partisan issue? Today's sponsor, Bombas. So about 2 videos ago, Bombas sent me some socks to try out for myself.
Fuck 'em.
All women across the internet have been like, we choose the bear. Okay, so what's the logic? So you choose the bear, okay, over the man being trapped. Wild. But you're okay with men in women's sports. You're okay with men in women's prisons. And you're okay with men in women's restrooms.
She's
where
cooking.
There are women who are vulnerable and also children and little girls. So what's the logic behind that?
Well, looks like it's feeding time, Bestie. I'll be right back. Hey there, looking to buy some straw. Darn it, all out. What do you mean all out? I mean, we're all out of straw. That woman over there bought them all.
I'm sorry, I am so tired of the tens of thousands of just hard fours online being like,
I'm going for her because he's gonna strip all of our rights away as a woman. I can do that as a mom and a dad.
What's she need him for? I don't know. I don't watch questions. Okay, well, like, do you have, like, any other types of straw? Yeah, we just got these ones over there. Is this paper? Yep. Do you have the plastic ones? It's almost impressive how she managed to touch upon every single major straw man argument the right has in order to appeal to the small percentage of men who don't understand the man versus bear analogy. But for the sake of argument, let's actually go through and break down the semi-conscious regurgitations of what that one uncle said at Thanksgiving dinner. Trans women in women's sports. A recent study actually showed that trans women are actually at somewhat of a disadvantage when it comes to certain muscle groups.
No, bro, you went from base to what the fuck? Trans men are at certain disadvantage. Trans men. Wait.
At somewhat of a disadvantage, that one uncle said at Thanksgiving dinner. Trans women in women's sports. A recent study actually showed that trans women are actually at somewhat—
Oh god, it's trans women, so it's dudes that transition. So yeah, okay, I heard that right. I don't care about that terminology these days. I'm a boomer about that. You people are fucking out of your mind. Lost me, bro. That was it. We're quoting actually. The study says actually. I linked the studies below here. It says that literally the source actually the gendergp.com new report says men who transition into women, like their trapezoids are slightly weaker, diminishing their abilities in certain sports. Actually. Are you fucking kidding me? No, bro, you just need your red pill awakening. I'm not talking about going conservative or whatever. Fuck, I need you to open your eyes to the rest of the system and all of its follies. Well, I was feeling good about Gen Z. Damn. Oh my God. I can't. Sorry, I'm not watching the rest. It's going to have to end there. We started off good, but if the conversation is really going to be defending dudes transitioning into, I don't want to say that, a biological man playing in a sport with other biological females, somehow it doesn't have an advantage. It's just mind-blowing that you would cite a study in one of the most politicized times in society in general, where we've politicized this shit out of science, and all the research therein that is made is politicized, and special interest groups, and especially certain wings of the government that was in power, funding this research to get a specific answer to further social engineer. What the fuck, man? They're close. They're really close to get. It's right there. I mean, their generation is the one that grew up. Look, I'll forgive it for some of them. Imagine being brought up in this shit. Like, okay, millennials, hear me out. You went to the movie theaters and you saw shit like Predator, or maybe you had it at home on VHS. And the very first scene of the movie is a bunch of jack dudes on a helicopter inserting into some fucking jungle, talking about sexual tyrannosaurus jokes, chewing tobacco, and a pussy joke that's like, Grand Canyon echoes. And then the rest of the movie, all right? They grew up in a world where all the music is simping, even rap music that was red-pilled in the 90s, for example, is talking about like, pimping hoes and getting paid and making money. They're all drug users and abusers and mega simps. It ain't tricking if you got it is like the thing they basically rap about, just buying hoes bags. Literally, it says that in the lyrics. Like, let me buy you a bag. Let me ice out your watch, simps. They're all getting they're all getting their guts rearranged. Their booties are owned by Diddy, so whatever. Okay, Diddy's been in the booty of your favorite rapper, so calm down. That whole shit is a sham. Then you have the advent of female rappers. I'm sure their booties got played into by who knows what. Maybe Diddy also. So the whole industry has been co-opted, jacked, and turned into a money-making business. It's trash. And it's putting in the masculine message for women. It's putting in the feminine message for men now, making them be drug abusers. And on top of that, you got movies where it's showing like X Special Forces female and like one chick beating up 6 dudes in a hallway, or, some other crazy shit like that. Or they got cartoons now. They're like, I don't like to be my pronoun. I identify. I don't have a gender. So they're the ones that are, at the forefront of all this slop, the social engineering. So I get it. Part of it is it's hard to rip that cancer out of your fucking brain so you could think for yourself again. It's okay. Economically, they're being black-pilled so hard that it's causing a mass awakening for a lot of them. But, remains to be seen. So far, it's looking good. If the men are trending hyper-conservative like that, that's a good thing. The women, though, they got the institution backing them. That's why they're going hyper-liberal. And the narrative that's spun up is essentially it's me versus you. We're going super tribal, and that's not healthy for society, as you see. Now we're being further divided into more by skin color if you're following on X with the Shiloh thing and the Carmelo Anthony case. So that's being turned into a flashpoint for society. Immigrants and all that shit, the border and the roundups, Doge and the tax cuts, cutting the Department of Education, the tariff stuff, all this stuff. They're being red-pilled quite literally in front of their faces on all of society's ills. Like we're seeing the machinery kind of fall apart around us. They can't buy a house. The roads are shit. Can't even afford a car anymore. They're struggling. They gotta have roommates until they're like 35. Schools have turned into indoctrination woke camps. And if a college ever hires you as a man, as him, white guy, Asian guy, whatever guy, and you're straight male, you're at a disadvantage to, list 10 things off. Just as, as early as a few years ago before we shifted into Trump's presidency. So imagine being raised into that shit. So, I applaud every single one of them that are able to see through the massive psychological bombardment. So I take it back. I don't shit on them too hard. He is on the cusp of fully awakening. Take some time. He looks super young, and certainly he's further along than I was probably at his age. Anywho, appreciate you boys for tuning in, and the ladies too. Shout outs to everybody in the private community, everybody that does the calls. Been a blast speaking with you. And as usual, question everything you hear, see, read, because we are in the propaganda era powered by AI, and nothing can be believed unless verified. I question everything now. By default, I wasn't this way. A headline used to be, good as gold pretty much. Oh yeah, it's a headline, reputable company, of course. Wow, that really happened? I have to question everything now. Everything I read, everything I see, everything I watch, it's impossible. Who's manipulating me? Yeah, as people mentioned Donald Trump. Anyways, see you later, boys.